Hello and welcome to Travel Beans. I'm Emma and this is Alex.
And this big map behind us symbolises that we are experts in travel.
We're in my old bedroom in my hometown, guys. This has been here for a very long time. And no, we haven't visited any of the places on this map. Also, just before we get started, we will be announcing our next series later this week on Thursday. So keep your eyes peeled. If you haven't already, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can find out about it.
And also, if you want to see what's happening in real time, go to Instagram because on Friday we are starting our next trip. Filming is starting on Friday. Very excited. So check out our Instagram.
We recently got back from a pretty amazing trip around the US in a camper van. So we thought now, before starting our next trip, would be the perfect opportunity to talk a little bit about the things we loved and the things that we hated from our trip.
To kick off our list of things that we love and hate about America, we've got to start with hate because it's just more interesting.
He's always trying to mix things up, isn't he?
So the thing that, I mean, without doubt annoyed me the most about America,
I know
brace yourself guys, it's sarcasm. And specifically, me as a British person who's extremely sarcastic, I cannot understand how our American friends don't understand sarcasm.
Saying that, a lot of the people in the comments on the videos clearly did understand the sarcasm, so don't worry, we haven't forgotten about you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
This is not directed at just all the lovely people that completely understand us. What is so frustrating to me as an English native speaker is that basically every English native speaking country, we have no issues with people understanding us. So it's so frustrating when some American people don't understand our sarcasm and they just don't get us, like at all. Like, for example, I made this joke in Zion. Americans always mention to me about their lack of history, especially when comparing it with England, but considering this is only a couple of hundred years old, this is incredible. Here, I felt I was clearly making the point that America is actually very, very old, so I just kind of laugh when American people tell me that they have a very young country. Now, basically, with the comments, a number of people didn't understand this, and what really frustrated me the most is that basically you have two choices here. Alex is joking, or he's being serious. These are the only two choices you have when you decide to make a comment. He's joking, not funny, doesn't matter. Or he's being serious. He has a travel channel for a number of years on YouTube. They've been traveling for a very long time, but he still thinks that these rock formations are created in the last couple of hundred years.
So you're either joking or you're an idiot. Those are the two options.
And that's the choice they've gone for. Oh, unforgivable.
Well, I thank those people because you have given me endless hours of entertainment laughing at him. And speaking of commenters, we had quite a few comments throughout the whole series about what a fussy eater Alex is. What do you have to say to those people?
Well, okay, so going back to the last point, what I'm saying, a lot of the time, take with a pinch of salt, because I am being sarcastic and a lot of stuff is for effect. So when I'm comparing the McGriddle to the unfertilised duck egg, and I say that this is the worst thing in the world, well, that's the worst thing I've eaten in my travels, and I genuinely mean that. That was... ugh.
Worse than balut?
Worse than balut, because at least that had like some purpose. I'm not necessarily saying it is the most disgusting thing I've ever eaten. It's more like exaggeration, kind of for comic effect. But I still have an issue with this. Yeah. Like, so lots of people have called me fussy. The same guy that ate the chicken egg in Philippines, brains, I've eaten brains and loved them.
Brains, yeah.
I've eaten a lot of interesting things around the world. And basically, I think I complain mostly about hot dogs and the McGriddle. So, for the people calling me fussy, or there's people telling me I need to check out my taste palette because there's something clearly wrong with it, if you're judging your country's food on McDonald's or the hot dog, you've got something wrong, guys.
Because you guys do have a lot of good food, so don't go belittling it, because actually you have some great food, and we had some of the best pizza, the best bagels, the best Mexican food we've ever had in America.
Also, a lot of good food that we didn't have on camera. To me, complaining about me not liking these types of food is like if you came to the UK, you didn't like fish and chips, and then I said to you, you don't like any English food? And finally, I just want to have a little word on the hot dog. Lots of people got angry at me for interchanging the word sausage and hot dog because a hot dog is not a sausage. A sausage is just a long sausage-shaped thing, and that is why you can interchangeably use a man's genitalia as a sausage because it's the same shape as a hot dog, as a bratwurst.
Anyway, let's move on to a couple of things that we actually like. Because we did have a really nice trip, and if you watch the videos, I'm sure you saw that we had a really nice trip. But in this video so far, it's not coming across that way, so I apologise. Firstly, the people are pretty great wherever you go in the world. We haven't had that many awful experiences with people, and actually most of my bad experiences have probably been in the UK. So actually I cannot fault the Americans when it comes to their personality. They're so welcoming and friendly and helpful.
Extremely helpful. Extremely helpful.
You guys are going to be disappointed if you come to the UK. We are not that helpful.
We are miserable, as you can tell from our videos about how miserable we are all the time. But that also leads me on to something I don't like.
Oh, what a surprise.
Which just lights me up and I get so excited. The drivers, specifically in California and even more specifically LA.
Yes.
Horrific. I don't understand.
So bad. Are there no rules on your road?
It's not a system.
Okay, the indicating. Guys, why are you not indicating? It's a very simple thing. You just have to move your hand ever so slightly and everyone knows what you're planning on doing. It's very useful.
It was very frustrating when you're driving in the lane and then you've got people undercutting you and overtaking you at the same time.
Yeah.
So you just feel like you can never leave the lane.
It's very
because
scary.
Someone's coming at any moment.
Especially when you're in a rental and you really don't want to get in an accident. So you just end up sitting in the middle lane constantly, terrified of moving. Yeah, it wasn't the best experience, but traveling outside of the city was really nice with those big open roads.
Which would then lead us on to something that we loved so much, and that was just the freedom of being in a van driving around America.
Nice. I like that you slipped in the word freedom there in a video about America. Very
Well,
nice.
hopefully that will make up for the horrible things I said earlier.
Yeah, you can't really compare to the freedom of a camper van trip over any other kind of trip. You know, just having the places that you sleep and you eat all together and being able to go wherever you want without restrictions, it's hard to beat.
And then you've got the nature that's surrounding everything.
Oh my goodness.
It's...
By the end of the trip, I think I actually felt like emotionally exhausted with all of the beautiful things that I saw in nature. I was so shocked. It was like every day there was another surprise, another surprise. It was amazing. It is hard to choose like a favourite place that we went to, and a lot of people have asked us that since we came back. Where was the best place you saw on the trip? And it's really hard to choose. Like, what would you say was like the best or one of the most memorable places?
Everything always depends on the mood. So like what I feel like now, I think Page was probably my favourite place because it had Lake Powell, Horseshoe Bend and Antelope Canyon all within about a mile distance.
Or actually Flagstaff was another really good one for the same reason, in that you could go stay in Flagstaff and go off and see so many different sites from there as your base. But then you also have the other places you come across like by accident. Like right after leaving Santa Barbara, we went to like a recreation area, which was just like this massive campsite right next to a lake. And we didn't expect to find somewhere like that night. We thought we'd end up in a truck stop or a Walmart or something. So that was like a really nice surprise. Same with Los Padres National Forest. When we drove to Big Sur, we had no idea we were going to be driving through such a beautiful forest. So it really took us by surprise. And also some of the campsites that we found like in the nature were phenomenal. And again, completely unexpected. When we were doing research, a lot of our favourite places we actually never found when we were researching it. We just stumbled upon it. Like the Valley of Fire. That was amazing. It was like $10 a night to stay in the most epic campsite ever with toilet facilities. It had Wi-Fi, for Christ's sakes. Like, it was, yeah, amazing.
Also, as Brits, fuel is very expensive here, and I know Americans do complain about how expensive it is, but it's not as expensive as here.
Guys, we're paying twice the price that you pay, okay? Stop your moaning. And obviously when you're driving around the States, the distance between places is quite large, but it's just really nice when the fuel's not so expensive that you can go those distances and not be stressing about how much money you're going to be throwing away on fuel. So that was a benefit for us.
This trip, and specifically the van life stuff, really has inspired us a lot about maybe what we would want in the future. We don't necessarily want to be full-time van lifers, but it's a way of travelling that is just really, really appeals to us. And it's got us thinking about different countries that we could go and try this out in now.
Yeah, I mean, if the US was good, like just based on the size and the variety of stuff that you can go and see, surely you've got to put Australia on that list as well. And we did mention in the previous video that we are thinking of going there, so maybe we can combine those things. We have also learned like a lot about American versus British culture and the differences, and I think when you don't understand another culture, it's very easy to judge them, but having spent so much time there now, like I feel like we do understand Americans and the American culture a lot better than we did before, and for that reason I love the country so much more. Especially you did some like pretty crazy stuff, like you went hunting.
I did go hunting, and
mental.
people didn't like that.
He didn't catch anything, guys, don't worry.
And my vegetarian girlfriend, who edited the video, didn't care and thought it was very nice of me to go on one of these things.
I think it is important to test your morals in life, just and see why you do certain things or think certain ways. And I think the fact that you eat meat and you were willing to go and see that and experience that, I think just shows you're a very open-minded person. I was quite impressed.
But that said, I'm not doing it again. Also, I went to the desert with some very proud Americans, and in that video I basically got to look into why Americans are so proud, and that is something that is very, very difficult for Brits to understand, and I've just really had a great time and like definitely understood things a lot more. It doesn't mean it's something I'm going to be taking into my daily life. I love being British, but I'm not going to shout about it that much.
Anyway, we have really appreciated all of you guys at home watching, joining us for the journey. We've had so many amazing comments and messages on Instagram and Facebook and all of those things. So thank you guys. You've made the journey even better by being there.
And anyone that does leave a comment, rest assured that we read all of them. We don't reply to many of them, but we read all of them. Every single one, as mean and as horrible, as nice and lovely as it is, we're going to read it and it's going to affect our day. So, depending if you want us to be happy or sad, leave it in the comments.
Leave it in the comments. And of course, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell because we are setting off on our new journey and we will be announcing it on Thursday, which we've already said, but I just want to remind you so you make sure you're there. Now it's time to end the video.
Thank you very much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time, and beans out!